Today's session is not only of from your economic point of view, but it's very important from your Indian polity point of view also. So before going to GST, to understand this topic, make things very clear that what all points I will be discussing, just note down. That is sufficient for you to answer any question if any polity or economy related GST question will be, if UPSC asked any question, there is a high possibility that they will ask a polity question also in relation to 101st Constitution Amendment Act. So it's related with GST only, we will discuss that. So what you need to do is just note down the important points and just revise those notes. So note down, I'll give you the material, but material will be, it may take few more days. So what you need to do is just understand the concept. Okay. So before going to GST, you need to understand why the government have introduced this tax. What was the situation before the introduction? So till now try to understand that we have not introduced GST. GST will be introduced from 1st July 2017. Now, so presently we are in April only, say 1st April, so 3 more months is left. So what is the situation now in relation to the taxation? Now keep this in mind, when you hear the word goods and service tax, go back and revise your public finance material on direct and indirect tax, especially indirect tax, because we are going to discuss only about indirect tax. We have already discussed in the public finance that goods and service tax are basically indirect tax, So just have an idea, this term is very important, it's an indirect tax. Now what is the problem of indirect tax? What is the problem of indirect tax? We already discussed that it's a regressive tax. Yes or no? It's a regressive tax. It taxes the rich and the poor at the same way. See, indirect tax will not distinguish that you are a poor person, will not tax you. Indirect tax will not do that. But in relation to direct tax, it is only to those people who have to pay tax, they have to pay tax. You take all the indirect taxes, we will take one by one, we'll just, because this is very important. You take the case of service tax. Service tax is an indirect tax. Service tax is an indirect tax where if you get any services, you need to pay tax for it. Similarly, excise duty. Excise duty, again it's an indirect tax on manufacturing, it's on production. So again, if you consume any manufactured product, then you have to pay for it. So the seller will not see that whether who is purchasing it, whether it's a rich guy or a poor guy. It's common, the rate is, tax is same. So we say that, okay, the problem with our Indian taxation system is that the indirect tax component is more. Indirect tax component is more in relation to our tax revenue. So that should not be the case in India, because especially there are a lot of poor people are there. So what the government is planning to do with GST is that the indirect tax burden can be reduced. We will see that how this indirect tax burden can be reduced. Okay, so one goal is in relation to GST is that, or before going to GST is that, try to understand that indirect tax is a regressive tax. So one issue you keep in mind regarding indirect tax. Second is, the last class we discussed about trade agreements. Yes or no? Trade agreement. So we are going to go, we are going for economic integration. We are going for economic integration between India and the rest of the world. We had already signed a lot of bilateral free trade agreements. We have signed so many regional free trade agreements, and now we are planning for mega regional trade agreement. What is this mega regional trade agreement is all about? It is removing all the trade barriers, both tariff and non-tariff barriers. So we are going for trade agreement between India and the rest of the world, but what about within the country? What is the situation? Do we have integration within the country? No. So we don't have this common market concept. See, we discussed, we can understand what do you mean by common market in relation to different countries. Now what my question is that, do we have a common market in India? No. Why? At different state impose different taxes, or the rate of taxes is different. Same item, if the tax is, for example, I'll tell you, okay, take the case of petroleum products. In the petroleum products, there are a lot of taxes are involved. Take the case of sales tax. Who imposes sales tax? Sales tax comes under which list? State list. You know what will happen after 1st July? Already do you know that the sales tax is not there in the 7th schedule? It is not there now. Why? This has taken away. Now under the state list, so many items have been removed. Not so many, 2 items have been removed. One item is the power of the state to impose sales tax. Similarly, at the union list, now you can't see service tax. It is removed from the union list also. Now see, that is what is, I'm just coming to the point. So we'll come to it, we'll discuss in detail what is 101st Constitutional Amendment Act. It's very important for you from your polity point of view. But actually that act is all about goods and service tax. So come back. So what happened is that since sales tax comes under the state list, every state have the power to impose sales tax. So Kerala government will impose a sales tax of 20%. Tamil Nadu government will say that okay, we will impose only 15% or 10%. What will happen? See, they have that discretion to impose, especially in relation to certain products. What will happen is that same product will have different prices in different states. You get to the point? So we don't have a common market. So we don't have any common market in India. As of now, we don't have any common market. So this is another aim of, so presently, especially in relation to when you sell any goods or in services, we don't, especially in goods, not in services, especially in goods, services as of now is in the union list. So that since it is in the union list, union government have imposed a single tax, same rate all over the country. But in relation to goods, it's not the case. So we don't have a common market concept in relation to goods in India. So its tax rate is different in different states. Why? Sales tax is coming under the states list. So say state have the power to impose what tax rate should be imposed on particular product. So that's another concern, that we don't have a common market as of now. Third thing presently in relation to supply of goods and services, that when it comes to, there is a big issue that since there are lot of taxes are there on a particular product. Take the case of again this petroleum products itself. The union government will impose, when it import, it will impose import duty. Then during manufacturing or during production time, the central government impose central excise duty. Then during the sale time, the state government impose sales tax. And if this product is moving from one state to another state, that is what is called as central sales tax. So many taxes are there for a particular product. And one of the interesting point of these taxes is that there used to be cascading effect, cascading effect. You need to understand what this cascading effect is all about. Cascading of taxes. So it's not that different taxes are there. That's not, don't confuse it. There are a lot of taxes. That's not cascading. Cascading means you have already paid a tax. It's basically you are paying tax on a product which has already paid tax to a certain extent. For example, take the case of any input. take any finished product. Say a finished product, think about a supply chain. Think about a supply chain. So in the supply chain, the raw material will be imposed a tax. Then it will pass through different stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, finally reaching the finished product. So in every stages there used to be tax, and this tax, so it will not consider, take the case a stage like this, different stages of a value chain. Imagine that this is the stage 1 and it's final stage. What will happen is that the government imposed tax here. Already in this stage tax has been imposed. When it comes here, so normally in the stage 1 if tax is imposed, when it comes to stage 2, if even here also there will be a tax. But the product over here, think about these two product in the two stages. In stage 1 already you have paid a tax. The price is, imagine it is 10 rupees. So in this 10 rupees already tax is paid. Now again for this stage, this is the input, yes or no? For this second stage, this is the input now. So again when it reaches here, what it been considered is that it again impose a tax on here also. So what I am trying to say is cascading means already you are paying tax for the inputs for the same item, you are paying twice, same tax twice. So cascading effect, what actually this is, again go to the stage 3, again the tax is paid. In stage 4, final stage, so cascading of taxes result in increase in the cost of that product. Cascading of tax results in increase in the cost of product. How is this increase? There is more taxes there. I am not talking about different types of tax, I am talking about cascading effect. Cascading effect means for the input you have paid tax. Again to the second stage you are paying tax. Again to the third stage you are paying tax. So the best way to deal with this cascading effect we already discussed. If you have any doubt, please go and read regarding cascading effect we have discussed when we discuss sales tax shifting to value added tax. Sales tax. So the concept of value added tax, please go and revise. Again you have studied under public finance. Under value added tax, we discussed that what is the issue of cascading of taxes and how this cascading effect results in the price of that commodity. Now once this, so again try to understand that goods and services, another feature. So what this goods and services, so presently due to cascading of taxes, many of the commodities prices is higher. And since, so this issue also have to be tackled. What issue? Issue of cascading of taxes. Again, if you go back to our VAT classes, in VAT classes we have seen that when sales tax shifted to value added taxes, what happened for the revenue collection of the state government? See, so there are benefit for the government, benefit for the consumer also, even benefit for the industry also. Take this perspective, 3 perspectives. See anything when you discuss in relation to taxes, think from 3 perspectives. The benefit for the business or the industry, the benefit for the government, the benefit for the consumer or the common man. Now when we shifted from sales tax to VAT, for the government, what happened? We thought that okay, we are removing cascading of taxes. So in value added taxes, instead of cascading of tax, what we do is, if you have paid tax earlier, what we will do? We will credit the input tax. So it's a concept what is called as input tax credit. Concept what is called as input tax credit. What do you mean by input tax credit? If you have paid tax for the inputs, earlier inputs, it will be refunded. So input tax credit means the tax you paid earlier will be refunded. So this is the major specialty of a value added tax. Value added tax removes cascading effect. Value added tax removes cascading effect. How it removes cascading effect? It pay back the tax you paid for inputs. That's what is called as input tax credit. Credit means you will be refunded. But if you want to get input tax refunded, you need to keep proper invoices. Everything, proper invoices have to be kept. Then only you will get back the input tax. So what is the present situation in India? We don't properly follow an invoices. Many of the many of the retail chains, though they don't keep proper invoices. So that results in tax evasion. So earlier, lot of tax evasion means government loses tax base because of evading of taxes. But with the introduction of value added tax, even though the tax rate have come down, but the revenue have increased mainly because more people started paying tax, because if they want to get input tax credit, they have to properly maintain invoices. If they properly maintain invoices, they have to pay taxes for all the different stages. So this is actually why I am explaining this VAT concept here is goods and service also, goods and service tax is also is modeled, it's basically a value added taxes. In the sense that whenever you hear the word value added tax, what does it mean is there will be input tax credit. It means that the tax you paid in the earlier stage will be refunded. That's a very, very, very important point. What is that? Input tax credit, input tax credit. So this problem to this solution, this is what the problem is regarding cascading of taxes, is that shift to value added taxation. This is what we are going to do. So presently we had the problem of we don't have a common market. There used to be problem of cascading of taxes. So if you see the three people, that is for the common man. For the common man, many of the products which he consume, prices is high. So the common man is having a problem. For the industry it is very difficult to do business, not only in relation to because of cascading of taxes, the other problem, since if he has, especially if he has different enterprises in different parts of the state, he find it difficult. There is very, if you might have noticed one thing, we have seen that in many of the state boundaries, trucks is lying down continuously, and you know that how much it affects the transaction cost. You know, always keep this in mind. Okay, whenever there is a delay in movement of goods, what will happen is that the transaction cost for the industry will increase. The transaction cost will for the business will increase. Not only that, if in the transport, if it is a perishable item, there will be lot of wastage also. So once this common market concept will come into picture with the introduction of GST, what will happen is that there will be the transaction cost for the industry will come down. The transaction cost for the industry will come down, and what it will make is that it will result in to making India, the efficiency of the business will increase and the economy will become more productive. This term is very important. GST will result in India making a productive economy. Economy will become, our economy will become more productive because efficiency will increase, transaction cost will come down. So along with productive economy, it results in making our products more competitive. It will result in making our products more competitive. So what will happen when the production become economical? The companies or business people will produce more. Since the consumer, for the consumer the price have come down, they will consume more. That will result in more economic activity. So what do you mean by economic activity? It's national income increasing. For the economy to grow, what should happen? There should be more economic activity. There should be more production. There should be more consumption. So GST will result in more production from the business side, more consumption from the consumer side, and that results in more economic growth. So more economic growth results in more revenue for the government in the form of taxation. So there will be increase in the national output. Increase in the national output means there will be increase in the GDP growth. Increase in the GDP growth, the national output will increase, and also the government revenue will also increase. So overall, this, if you can handle these problems faced by the present situation in relation to this, the cascading of taxes or the other related problems in the present indirect tax structure. Once this settled and once this all the tax get integrated, our economy will become a productive economy. So this is a direct relation between GST and how India becoming a productive economy. So presently, so we are faced with so many problems in doing business in India, especially in relation to the transaction cost and other related hurdles faced by the business. To solve all these issues, few years back there was a proposal, like in many of the developed countries is having this goods and service tax. So we decided to make India a productive economy. Indian government also decided to make India a not only one nation but also one tax. So GST is also known by this name, one nation, one tax. For one nation, for the same nation, there should be one tax only. Not for Kerala one tax, Tamil Nadu one tax, Karnataka one tax, different tax, Maharashtra different tax, UP different tax, nothing like that. For one nation, there will be only one tax, and that tax is goods and service tax. Goods and service tax. So what this goods and service tax will do is that it will integrate many of the indirect taxes, both from the center and the state.